What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. It's a new moon in Aquarius. It's a new Chinese New Year. Year of the Snack. So, hope we're ready for some new energy to get quantum. I don't know. It's weird. It's Aquarius is like the quantum field, but it's kind of like the fourth dimension to me, where it's just like time, but it's like all the timelines collapsed onto one. And yeah, it is. It holds like that special place where it's like Akashic records, future, past, present, the now. Very interesting. So let's look at this new moon. It's at 9 degrees, so it's kind of a degree of endings. Definitely a Martian degree. So I would say yeah, there's an intensity. Obviously, it is conjunct Pluto with a 10-degree orb, and Mercury's still conjunct Pluto for this new moon as well. So there's like a really deeply embedded, almost unconscious intensity that's trying to push us into a future, trying to get us to connect to that space in between times. It is sort of that quantum field. It's also a time of friends, hopes, ideals, innovations. But for what it's worth, it's also a time of individuality. And that's what's special about Aquarius is the uniqueness that it brings. It wants to separate. It's the two waves, right? Squiggle, 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 squiggle. There's a separation. So there's a vibrational separation that we go through every year, especially when we get the new moon in Aquarius. And one, it separates us from the Chinese year that we were just in, which was what, the year of the tiger? I don't even remember. I think it was the year of the tiger. I kind of don't pay too much attention to it. But for what it's worth, the Chinese New Year lines up with Jupiter returns. So if you just had a Jupiter return, you probably just had a Chinese New Year return as well. I'm Jupiter in Cancer. That's why it's the year of the snack. Jupiter's going to come into Cancer. But it is this sort of breaking away from the old into the new, whether it's breaking away from something and it's traditional too. We're coming off Capricorn season and starting a new lunation. So this is a big one because Pluto's never going back into Capricorn. So there's so much of a breakaway from society right now. Kind of reminds me of like the Mayans, right? They kind of just broke away and they just disappeared. It was like, where'd they go? Maybe they just quantum leaped. I don't know. And I don't think we're going to quantum leap out of this reality by any means, but there's breaking away from certain traditions. Now, whether this is certain things that we've made a tradition in our own lives or, the way society's operated for a long time, especially the last 16 years, this is kind of a really interesting separating moment. And, we are just getting ready for eclipse season coming up not too long from now, So there's a lot of chapters turning. There's a lot of frequencies changing. There's an intensity. We might not know what that intensity means right now. We might be trying to search the bottom of the depths of hell to find what the ultimate meaning is and crack some kind of special code. But it's sort of the flexibility to go through unpredictability and to be an individual and to be that individuated self, because that's what sets you apart from the rest. And to be in a really good group, we all have to be in a really good group of one. And this is something Aquarius teaches us too, because it has this disconnect-connect factor, this friends, but this individual freedom-oriented state too. And, trying to find liberation. So there's certain aspects, I think, within relationships. We're seeing Venus with Neptune and the North Node, but it's also in semi-square to the new moon, 45 degrees. So I think there's a very interesting theme around the networks that we keep in our life, the people that are in our life. It also has to do with money and monetary, sort of situations. Very interesting. Like, we've got to come up with better ways to, one, love ourselves, Two, to love each other, to respect the individual nature of others and to have empathy for others. But we also got to be cold enough here and smart enough in Aquarius to know when, this isn't about like forcing everybody to take your red pill either. Jupiter is in really good aspect. Right. So, and it's Jupiter in Gemini. This isn't Jupiter in Sag, where it's like, get everybody to take your red pill, like your way is the way. Like this is like we all have to find that unique place that we can find hope that makes sense for us in a more consolidated, reality. Meaning like your life, your environment, right? So people play a big role in this sort of shift to, are people in alignment, and do you have empathy for people, or do the people in your life have empathy for you? Are the situations in your life leveling you up? Are they bringing more value? Now, whether money is a weird energy. It's unique. It's special in its own way, just naturally. It's a weird system. There's always going to be some kind of proof of value, if you will. But sometimes when we're around the wrong people, you might notice the bank account looking a little weird. So something to keep in mind, especially right now during this lunation cycle, is your net worth, whether it's monetary or something internal, is it growing right now? Is your soul capital growing, or is it depleting? And is it depleting because of rose-colored glasses and almost being too forgiving of people in your life that maybe are, don't have your best interest in mind? I don't know. It's something to consider, I think, in this lunation. And I think that with Mercury and Pluto here, it's kind of there's going to be some investigation on like the social, groups that we hang with, and if they're good for us, if they're providing the value that we're looking for, and if they're making that trine to Jupiter, ignite. Are we amplifying our network with the people that are around us, and is it upping our soul capital as individuals? And I think that's something that's very interesting. And I think Uranus going direct tomorrow, so Uranus is stationed. It doesn't show the S just yet because this is early. If I made the chart for later in the day, it would say it's stationed, but hasn't said it yet. But tomorrow, Uranus goes direct. So it's weird to have Uranus stopped in time in a place where it's dispositing a new moon and in a sign that some would consider its fall position, Taurus. So there's a huge sort of breakaway when it comes to what people value right now. And I think that it's a little bit confusing and it feels a little bit stuck in time. And it's hard to make sense of all of these different equations that life throws at us on a day-to-day basis, on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis. But I think as long as you stay true to yourself and your unique nature throughout this experience right now, especially right now, but really for the next, just do it for the rest of your life. Stay unique and true to yourself, but especially with Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years, we're going to start to make big leaps in our own net worth, whether it's soul capital or monetary capital. So I think we're at a very interesting time where the people you surround yourself with need to be people that are leveling your life up. And it's hard right now. I think it's very difficult to drag loose weight, to drag just dead weight. And we could want to so badly, but I don't think it's going to, really give us that big leap that I do think many of us want, just from my experience and, observation of people in my life and clients. And everybody kind of is ready for this quantum, sort that everybody wants this big leap to happen. Right now, the leap is kind of off of a cliff and there's no, it's North Node in Pisces. The leap is off a cliff into a dark abyss. And you kind of have to trust that it's a portal that's going to put you into a Garden of Eden. Biblical term, right? But nonetheless, a very beautiful place that you're able to really connect to the value of that place, and not only that, but thrive and grow in that place. So we're all trying to figure out how to get to that place where we can really be abundant in growth and in expansion. And I just don't think you can do it with too many people. I don't think too many people are going to stand on the cliff with you. Some will, 100% some will. But there's not going to, I feel like a lot of people are going to realize that a lot of the people that they've been with or have had in their life for a long time are not going to want to hold your hand and jump off the cliff with you. And dragging them is just almost going to cause resentment. So it's a very weird energy for people right now. But I think it's also getting us to the magic of this time and sort of where it can progress to and what kind of stories can be created and what the visions can be and how real things can be when you kind of stay true to yourself and have that faith. And I think that that is something that's very important with Mars retrograde. Still making good aspects to Saturn and Venus, right at that midpoint with the trine. We want to use our creative potential to envision and feel like we can conquer the world, even if it doesn't show up right away. It's kind of like really separating ourselves from the negative feelings that hold us back and really connecting to the mind that is so powerful right now that wants to kind of have it all with Pluto and Mercury together. So, very interesting. The Mars is even opposite Eros, which I think is an interesting, like desire nature that we have this like almost unquenchable thirst, but it's almost like, are we really that passionate about the old traditions, or are we ready to reinvent new traditions and kind of stick to them because they bring more value and they bring a better way forward from the foundation within us that we're trying to establish and create from. So it's quite unique, I think, because there's so much opportunity. I can't help but just feel more intuitively than anything that we're about to be in a time where opportunity is abundant, but it's not by playing in the same sandbox. So it's not that we can't use tools and toys from that old sandbox, but there's like another sandbox next to the old one. And we want to try and figure out what the connections will be in that new sandbox. It's almost like all the old, it's like, oh, my old friends over here, but there's like these new kids in this new sandbox. And you're like, I'm a little nervous to go in the sandbox. But that sandbox is where some of the best connections can come in life right now. Now, I don't know whether this is, actually friend and relationship, oriented, or if it's relationship to things that we do in life day in, day out. Because I would say the South Node in Virgo really does want to clean up our life so badly. So badly. It wants to clean some shit up. It wants to vacuum up all the crumbs. It wants to get the dust off the fucking TV, off the desk. It wants to clean the inside of the computer, which I probably should do soon. It wants to do a lot of things. And that's good. It provides us with that change, but we also need to remember the vision and the hope. And that things will get done if we're willing to move forward. Almost like even doing the same routine over and over again is just gonna provide us with absolutely nothing, plentiful. And maybe make us feel disconnected from spirit and our soul in some way. So remember that. We got a long time with these nodes here. It's a special place for these nodes, but where you put your mind is powerful. And we've talked about this week, but where you put your mind right now is so powerful about how you're going to get to the place you want to get to. And this is a really good opportunity to get to that place that you really want to be and to make huge leaps and bounds and, put you in the sandbox that you feel most uniquely connected to and abundant in and connected. So, pretty cool new moon. I'm excited for it. I just think it's providing us with opportunity, and I don't know, we got to be willing to take opportunity when it comes here. Venus is the strongest planet right now, +6, exalted in Pisces, and it's, semi-square this new moon. So the Venus quality, and it's with Neptune, which Neptune's like the higher octave of Venus. Like, we really got to know that we can manifest whatever we want, and to really remember to not just meditate on it, but to just really feel it. Feels like the law of attraction could be more powerful than ever. But there's so much more to it, and that's why Mars, I think, is in this trine, is like, yeah, we can be so passionate, but we do want to, we do have to progress forward, even if it might feel like we're progressing backwards. Time and space in general right now is not as linear as it's been before. So we need to get used to that, because what felt like a step back could actually just be the biggest step forward we ever took. And I think that that's an interesting perspective with this Mars retrograde, is to stop feeling defeated from a step back and to start feeling inspired, because there was a reason, the intuition, there's something mystical about the step back to help us reevaluate certain actions and things that can be invented in our lives. So I hope you have a great new moon. Sure do. And I hope you have a great day. Be true to you. It'll give you way better connections to the life you want and the life you deserve. Even if you have an amazing, beautiful life and you feel so blessed, and you should always feel blessed because we get to breathe every day. I think that's what they say. We should always feel blessed and grateful, and there's always another level. There's always another leap. There's always more. So no matter where we're at in life, try to, get the upgrade. It's Aquarius. It really reminds me of like the upgrades, which reminds me, like, I want to check and see if my graphics card is ready to be updated. I bet it is. I bet today's the day. They haven't dropped a new update in like 2 months, and I bet they drop an update. It's update season. Update season. It's crazy. There's AI wars out there right now, like all this DeepSeek stuff, and like apparently like that's the reason that the market's, on a downtrend, and then it pumps a little bit yesterday, and I don't know. It's so funny. So funny. But there's a lot of like technology that's about to be applied to life too. I don't know. Human technology human technology, for one, will always be the top tier of technology. But it's interesting what little gadgets and trinkets are going to get developed, and how they could be beneficial, and how they could also be a little scary. I hate those little robots. Those like dogs and things. Oh God, this is scary. But other than that, like, I got a great friend of mine who makes videos online right now, and he does them faceless, and AI generates him these beautiful videos, and he's doing really well on TikTok with it. So like, super cool. The things that we can do to have a better quality of life, by using some of those tools too. So I don't know. It's important to also, not have a closed mind right now. And Aquarius is pretty good at that. Not have a closed mind to different possibilities. They might not be things you ever thought, you would want to use, but you might find that there's a lot of things out there that can provide a lot of quality to our lives that some technology might help foster. Just saying. Card for the new moon is the Eight of Wands in reverse. See, because this card's all about fast movement. It's all about this. It's like action. It's like reminds me of like arrows. But what we thought was like fast and quick and, relevant is not going to be as relevant. There's something about the slowdown. It reminds me of the tortoise and the hare. There's something about that story even, like where we do want to kind of slow down and stop tripping so much on how long something is going to take or when something's going to get done, but just trust that it's going to happen. And even if you feel like things aren't, being created as fast as you want, like have some faith right now. Like that's what you really need. It's what we all need right now. So don't feel like nothing is happening fast enough. That's us almost losing faith, losing hope, and not having a strong belief. So you gotta really like feel and believe right now. It's important. And yeah, wishing you all the best. Hope you have a great Wednesday. I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.